even if you've been using WordPress for some time, managing your editorial flow when you're making posts can be a little bit of a challenge, especially when you open up multiple windows and you're trying to keep track of what's going on. In this video, I'm going to show you a simple process to make sure you're managing your windows correctly and that you don't get to a point where you think you've lost work when you probably haven't. As a bonus, I'm going to show you what happens when our Fortress system kicks in. Hi, I'm Duncan from 6.5. We help our clients build, maintain and host their business websites, and we take our responsibility very seriously. Therefore, we have industry-leading security built into our hosting stack that makes sure that your website is as safe as it can be. Now, commonly, when this system starts to kick in for our clients who are used to WordPress, it starts to appear like it's getting in your way. I'm going to show you how that looks in a sec. But let's dive into a simple editorial process first, and then I'm going to show you what happens when that timing kicks in. Okay, so my editorial process, I'm going to click on to add a new post. And I'm just going to give it a simple title. And so we've got something to look at. I'm just going to use a stock pattern here with a call to action on it so that we've got something to see. Now from here I want to double check that everything I've done is correct, it looks good, it's laid out well before I'm ready to publish it. So the easiest way of doing that is to click on View and then click Preview in New tab. That is going to show you your post as if a real user is looking at it, and it allows you to go, oh, okay, there's something I can now do with this, I want to change the content, I want to add an image, I want to rearrange it, whatever that might be. From here, it's really tempting to click on Edit Post. It's really tempting to go back through the dashboard to go look at the post as well. So let me show you what happens if I click on Edit Post. I've got back to my post page and I can quite easily go, all right, I'm going to add some more stuff here. Okay. And then go repeat the process and click Preview in New tab. Now my new post content is there, but if I've got lots of tabs open and I forget where I'm at, when I come back to this one here, that new content's not there. So actually it can be quite confusing and you can think that you've lost work that you were doing, but actually it's there in the preview and it's in that middle tab, that first preview that we did. Now what occurs is, like I say, you kind of get a bit lost. So let's start this process again. And I'll show you a different way of putting this together. So I'm going to add my new post. And I'm going to choose a different block so that we can see how this works in a different way. There it is. We've got Bud. And what I'm going to do is click Preview in New tab. All right, so I've got my block, I've got my post. I can change and edit this now, but rather than clicking Edit Post, what I'm going to do is just go back to the previous tab. And I'm going to update it, and then I'm going to click on the preview again. And that will open up the same tab. And now, as you can see, I can go between these two tabs and just repeat that process. Go back to the original tab. And here's something that is interesting that you think might work but doesn't, is you might click on refresh on that tab, but it won't actually save your change and then push it in. So make sure every time you want to preview it, click on the screen, click Preview New tab, and it will continue to just refresh that one tab for you. There you go. All right. So it's as tempting as it is to see the preview and then click on Edit Post, don't do it. Just swap between these two tabs, iterate over your post, doing what you need to do, until you're happy. Now, of course, when you are happy, click on Save Draft, and then from there, you can change your publish date to something in the future if you're going to schedule it, or just click right on Publish. Now, this same process goes when you're editing an existing post. Click on the preview, open up the new tab with the preview, review it, and then come back to the tab that you were using in order to make more changes. When you're done, close your preview tab, come back to your WordPress dashboard, and then you can see your post in here as well. Now this site has our Fortress security system installed. And what that means is that after a few minutes, as an admin or as an editor, I'm going to start to get some reduced permissions kick in. Now, the way to think about this is a bit like online banking. When you log into your online banking, you put in your username and password. Now, you can go and do stuff in there, no problem at all. You can go cancel a card. You can go and look at your statement. You can set up a transfer ready to go. But as soon as you get to the point where you can do something really, let's call it destructive, like paying someone $1 million out of your bank account when you don't really want to pay that person $1 million, it asks you for your password again. It asks you to re-authenticate. And the reason that's happening is because of session stealing. So have a look at this chart. The root cause of 60% of website hacks in WordPress in 2023 was through stolen session cookies. Now, what that means is that once you've logged into a site, that information that keeps you logged in is stored on your computer. And every time you look at a page, it tells that site that you're logged in for a period of time. Now, a hacker, if they get access to your site, your machine or your device, can pull those files from your computer, put it onto theirs, and then go use that website without you knowing, and also without them knowing your password, right? So if they're able to do that, that means that right now they could be clicking around on your website as a super admin, doing things like adding plugins, doing things like deleting themes, doing things like deleting posts, making basically a real mess of your website. They could even be updating and installing malware onto your web server without you knowing. And we don't want that to happen. So what happens is, after a period of time, you will see this red box, reduced permissions, appear up at the top. And it's just about to kick in on this website. And when it does, I want to show you a couple of things that are going to be a bit different in the way that you operate as an editor or when you're going through your editorial process. So for example, you can see I can trash a post. In media, for example, I can go in and I can delete the image. None of those things I want anyone else to be able to do should they get my details and log into my website. It's going to be pretty destructive if they do get that ability. So what the system will do is, after a period of time, it will start to reduce those permissions for you. Now, it's important to note that those permissions will not stop you publishing new content, won't stop you uploading media, won't stop you editing posts and previewing them. There is a red button up the top. Don't push the red button. Don't need to push the red button, okay? The only time you'll need to push that red button is if you want to do something destructive. So deleting a post or deleting an image out of the media library, or doing some tidy up after you've done your editing, right? Other things are like the area down under appearance and plugins. Those will get removed from you. And as you can see, it's starting to kick in. So here's my yellow. I'm getting a little countdown. Now, whilst that might scare you, it's not a big deal. All we're going to do is let it count down, and we're going to continue on our way, editing the post just the way that we were a minute ago. So I'm just going to pause for a sec. I'm going to let that count down, and then we'll have a look at what's going on. All right, so I'm going to go and edit my draft just while this countdown is happening. There's no issue with doing so, okay? I'm just going to add some text to that. I'm going to save on the draft. I'm going to go right ahead and preview that as well. And as you can see, my countdown has now finished and I'm in reduced permissions state. Now again, you don't need to click on reduced permissions, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to click on save draft again. And I'm just going to change that to mate. I'm going to click on save draft, and I'm going to go back into the WordPress dashboard. Now, what's changed is you can see I no longer have the delete button for a post. As you can see down the left-hand side, a number of items have been removed from me. And that's because we don't need to be able to go and change themes and posts and plugins every single time at every minute of every day whilst we're logged into the site. Things we do need to do is add new posts, edit posts, add and upload media. So another example, let's go into the library, and you'll see that I can do everything I'd normally do, but I cannot delete this image. okay, but I certainly can add another image to this site. So I'm going to get another version of that same image and upload it, so we can see we now have 2 versions of the same image. So it doesn't stop you from your normal editorial process. Again, if I go back to posts and I click on edit this post, I'll just tidy that up for a second, and then I click on publish, everything works just as normal, even though we're inside of that reduced permissions. Now let's say I need to go do some tidy up. I need to clean up, say, an image that I've uploaded whilst I was doing in that editorial process. So what I'm going to do is click on reduce permissions. It's going to ask me to enter my password again. And this is good, right? Remember that the reason this is happening is because a hacker has potentially taken your session from you. They don't know your password at that point in time. And because that reduced permissions has now kicked in for them, they actually have no power. They can't do anything other than add content to your site. So all this is now doing is making sure that we know it is you. You can now log in back to the site. The red bar has gone from the top. And what I'm going to do is remember that I was on a previous tab. So I'm going to close this tab, go back to my previous one. And again, you can see there's nothing there. I'm just going to click on reload. All of my things are going to come back. I'll go to the dashboard. Everything is back to normal down here. So just keep an eye on the tabs that you've got. You haven't lost anything. It's probably just in the previous tab, and a save draft and a quick refresh is a really good thing to do in here. Again, now I can come back into the media library, and let's say I didn't use this image. I can click delete permanently, click on OK. That will clean that up. It's all gone, it's all done, and everybody's happy. Safe and secure as houses. Now, if you want to know more about this, or you prefer reading rather than watching me yak at you, the place to come to is our knowledge base, which is at my.65.io. And if you come to manage WordPress security, manage WordPress hosting, and then security, you will see information about that under here. So here's the information about the red permission, the reduced permissions, the red box. That was the screen I showed you earlier. And what the restrictions are and what is actually happening. So if you found this video useful, please like and subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next video.